All right, so I'll start today's class. We have to work on the last presentation plus some extra things that I mentioned before to finish the course. Okay, let's please take everything into account. Let's work on Pearson. Let's try to work on our details. I'll keep working, all right? Now, indefinite pronouns. These indefinite pronouns are pretty important because they are very commonly used, okay? They are going to be used in many different situations with different type of contexts and in which the meaning is going to be, again, it can be mainly, it's not going to be neutral. It's mainly going to be something positive or negative. And here we can divide actually this into different groups. The ones that are in red and yellow, those are mainly going to be negative. And the ones in blue and green, those are going to be positive. All right. Now, all of them from this list, all of them are indefinite pronouns. You have the list with any, anybody, anybody, anyone, anything, and anywhere. The list with everybody, everyone, everything, everywhere. With no, nobody, no one, nothing, nowhere. Okay, and somebody, someone, something, somewhere. Okay, let's please consider that those are the indefinite pronouns and those are the words we have to know how to use. Now, we use indefinite pronouns to refer to people or things without saying exactly who or what they are, right? When we say someone was here, we know that it was a person, but we don't even know the sex of that person. We don't have any idea of who that person was. If we only say someone, but we know that it was a person. Or there wasn't anybody, sorry, there wasn't anybody here. We know again that no person was here. All right, very general, very indefinite. That's why we call them, of course, indefinite pronouns. We use pronouns ending in body or one for people and pronouns ending in thing or things, right? Very simple. I know my throat again. Okay, so everybody enjoyed the concert. It's something positive, right? Affirmative. Everybody for affirmative ideas. I opened the door, but there was no one at home. That's negative. No one, no person, right? No single person was there. Then it was a very clear day. We could see everything. Again, something affirmative. But these are examples. We have to take a look at the following idea. Everybody, no one, nobody, everything, and so on, they can be subjects because they are just indefinite pronouns. They are pronouns, so they can be used as subjects. They can be used as objects. It means they can be placed before the word, the verb. Everybody enjoyed the concert, or after it. There was no one at home. We could see everything. Okay, we got those possibilities. They can be subject or objects in their ideas. Now, rules that are important for indefinite pronouns. First, we use a singular verb after an indefinite pronoun. Okay, we don't say everybody love Sally. No, we say loves. Even though everybody is a lot of people, it's not like plural here. It is going to be conjugated in singular. Okay, everybody, sorry, loves Sally. Everything was ready for the party. And everything, again, can be many things. Everything can be the music, right? The food, the guests, the invitation, I don't know, everything. A lot of things, but we don't say everything were ready, right? We say everything was ready because, again, that's the rule. We use the singular verb, the singular conjugation, even though we can be referring to many things, we just conjugate this in singular. It means third person or the conjugation with was or is with the verb to be. Okay? Now, When we refer back to that idea, in the first place, as we saw, it is singular. But in the second time that it is going to be mentioned, that's why we say we refer back to an indefinite pronoun. Sorry. We are talking about what? We're talking about that it changes and it's not singular anymore. It has to be referred back as plural. So everybody enjoyed the concert. They, because they is everybody, where we don't say he or she. Of course, here we have to talk about plural. They stood up and clapped. Then I will tell somebody that dinner is ready. They have been waiting for a long time. So somebody is that. But they is referring to that somebody to the group of people we're talking about. All right? So again, the first time we refer to that, it is singular. But the second time, when we go back to them, it has to be plural. All right? And it happens the same with possessive. When we're talking about possession, we have two options, but one of them is using plural. So everyone knows what's his or her task, or everyone knows what's their task. So even though we are using the singular conjugation knows, even though that's the case, we use the plural as an alternative. Everyone knows what's their task, okay? Well, not his task, her task, can be his or her, but here, their, okay? So, sorry, this is like an alternative that we got. And actually, at least for me, this is more common and it's better than writing this his or her, because this just gives the idea that we're referring to that group of people in this case, okay? Those are the first rule. Let's take that into account. The first time, singular. When we refer back to them, plural. When we use possessive, plural, or his or her alternatively. All right? Now, in negative clauses, we use pronouns with no, not pronouns with any. Now, this is interesting. Any is also for something negative, but we will see what happens here. When it is the subject, we say nobody came, right? We don't say anybody didn't come. No, it doesn't make sense. We use no one, nobody, nothing, nowhere, if it is at the beginning. All right? That's important. Now, of course, we don't use negative with these ideas. We don't say nobody didn't. We don't say no one didn't. No one is already negative. So to that negative idea, you only add the verb. Nobody came, nothing happened. All right, let's keep going. Now, it is not here, but I'm going to mention that. All right, so we have two options, for example. And here it's not explained. It should be integrated here, but it's not. Any, it is, of course, for negative sentences, right? I don't want anything. So if you use negative in the conjugation, I don't want, then we can use anything. We don't say, I don't want nothing. That's incorrect. The two possible options are, I don't want anything, correct, or I want nothing, correct. All right, so both are negative. It's just that any is going to be used in real negative statements. I don't want, I don't go anywhere, I don't like anything. And no is used in affirmative sentences, but they have a negative meaning. I want nothing. All right, I need nothing. I know no one. It's like saying, I don't know anyone. I know no one. All right, so once again, both are negative, anybody and nobody. or any no, okay, and all the list with no and all the lists with any. Both are negative, but once again, any is used in real negative statements with the negative conjugation, and no is used in affirmative ideas with a negative meaning. Okay? And now, very easy, every. It includes all the people, all the objects. It depends what we say. So everyone should go to the party, or everyone should go to the party. That's the same. We're talking about people, all the people. All right? So, sorry again, I don't know. I was supposed to be better. I think this is a relapse. I hope no. Okay, because it's bugging me a lot. But it's weird. I was good. It was just, it started just a few minutes ago. But okay, I'm just making comments on that. Everyone, everybody for people, everything for objects. She wants to buy everything in the store. It refers to, sorry, all the objects. All right, to all the objects. That's easy. With every is very simple. It's affirmative, it's positive, the meaning is like that. It just means all the people, all the objects, and that's it. All right, that's quite it. You also have, of course, everywhere. We're going to see where at the end. Some in affirmative sentences and some questions. All right, there is someone in the park. Would you like something to eat? But we only use some in questions, like something to eat, if it's an offer mainly. All right? If it's not an offer, we're going to use any. All right? For example, do you know anyone here? Okay, do you know anyone here? You don't say do you know someone here? No. Is do you know anyone? So in real questions, when you don't know the answer, it's not an offer, any. In questions that are offers, some. Okay, so affirmative ideas and offerings, some, and the indefinite pronoun, of course. Someone, something, somebody, somewhere. All right? Any and specific for negative sentences and questions in general, as we just mentioned. There isn't anyone in the park. Okay, so again, as we mentioned also before, it is negative. It has to be part of a negative idea. There isn't anyone in the park. But does anybody know where the park is? It's a real question. It's not an offer, right? So it's a real question, a general question. So we use any because we don't have any clue of what the answer could be. And finally, where at the end, it refers to place. The same. Somewhere, right, and everywhere, those are for affirmative ideas. Anywhere, nowhere, those are for negative ideas. I want to live somewhere near the city. Affirmative, I want to live. I want to travel everywhere. Affirmative, positive meaning. I don't want to go anywhere. Negative. I have nowhere else to go. Negative. Even though, again, we're not using a negative conjugation, the word by itself is negative, right? So it makes it negative entirely. I mean, the sentence. But that's it, all right? That is quite it now. Now we're going to use, again, the rest of the time. I'm going to do my best because I'm going to, right? It's very annoying. It's bugging me again. I don't know why, but that's quite it. That's the lesson. This is a very simple lesson, and this was the last one. Please try to practice that. I mean, indefinite pronouns. Remember that some and every, they are going to be used in affirmative ideas. They are positive, of course. Any and no, they are used in negative ideas. But any in negative sentences and no in affirmative sentences, but they have, of course, a negative meaning. Okay? Now, remember the rules. In the rules, you got first, if they are mentioned for the first time, singular conjugation. In the second time, you refer back to them, plural. And when you use possessive, all right, it has to be plural as well. all right, as one of the alternatives. All right, so that's it. Let's go to the extra presentations once again. And with that, we finish everything, all right? Now, today, body paragraphs and perhaps the conclusion. Okay, I will drink some water. Give me a second, please. Okay, now let's finish this. Again, sorry, I was trying to get better because it's really bugging me a lot now. But let's do, okay, our best to finish because again, this is extra. But let's take a look at this to finish today and to finish with the course. So we learned about the introduction, about the main elements of the essay. We have to go now to the body paragraphs. Okay, this is going to be short. For the body paragraphs, as for the introduction, we need specific steps. The first one is the topic sentence. All right. It encapsulates and organizes an entire paragraph. It's the first idea, the first thing that you say in your body paragraph. It's the introduction for your body paragraph. It's like, first of all, it's important to know about this and that. So that's your introduction. That's your topic sentence for that paragraph. That's what you're going to talk about. That's what you're going to develop in that paragraph. Okay? So, although topic sentences may appear anywhere in a paragraph, in an academic essay or in academic essays in general, right, they often appear at the beginning. When creating a topic sentence, ask yourself what's going on in your paragraph. Why have you chosen to include the information you have? Why is the paragraph important in the context of your argument or thesis statement? What point are you trying to make? Okay, so again, it's the topic of that paragraph. It has to be related to your thesis statement. Remember that in the last part of your introduction, you had the thesis statement. That thesis statement is going to define everything. Remember that. So this topic sentence has to be related to the thesis statement. Okay. Let's say if your thesis statement at the end of your introduction is something like, therefore, we need to train professors in the use of digital platforms. My topic sentence can be, first of all, comma, it is important to know what the benefits of using digital platforms in education, all right, are. So it is related, yes, because I'm going to justify why it is important for professors to learn how to use these digital platforms because of the benefits that they have. Okay, and my first paragraph will be about the benefits of that training the professors or teachers in the usage of digital platforms. All right, so that's the first step. The second step in the body paragraph is optional. It's the only step that is optional. And it's extra explanation about the topic sentence. If your topic sentence, your first idea, and your body paragraph is not clear, all right, if it's not clear, you can use another sentence to explain that sentence. It can be one or two, as it says over there, but one is going to be more than enough. And again, this is optional. It's not always going to be necessary. Okay, so if you believe that you need this, that's your second step. If not, this is the third one. When I say introduce, you don't have to copy and paste the evidence yet. No, you're going to do it later on. But here is just the introduction. I mean, according to this, it is said that, and you give the evidence. But here, it's just introducing. Okay, so when including evidence, make sure it is integrated smoothly into the text of the paper. Readers should be able to move from your words to your evidence without feeling a logical or mechanical jolt. All right? When introducing goals, always identify the source, summarize the provide context. Okay? So here you have a main list of terms that you can use when you're introducing your evidence. So according to this professor, comma, it is what claimed, it is believed, it is commented, it is confirmed that, or the following idea, then quotation marks and the evidence, but that's the next step. Here, only that. And the verbs that you can use, as you see over here, are indicate, assert, believe, claim, comment, confirm, declare, define, describe, explain, make clear, propose, and so on, right? But here, of course, it's third person because it is mainly going to be used for someone. All right. The professor believes that this expert asserts, this person indicates, and so on and so forth. Okay. And as you can read at the end, they are not interchangeable because the meaning of them is not exactly the same. Of course, if you say believe, it's not the same as describe. Define is not the same as comment, right? So you have to be careful when choosing what's the best option. Okay, let's keep going. That's step number 3. In step number 4, now you introduce your evidence, right? According to this article, this expert states the following about the, I don't know, right, learning of digital platforms. Then quotation mark, and you introduce your evidence. You can look for information in articles, real articles, books, right? Many different sources, so that you can get the information from those documents and use it as part of your evidence. Okay, that's a key element over. All right, that's the step number 4. It's just putting the information inside quotation marks, showing what someone else is saying. The next one is that now you have to explain and unpack your evidence. So once that you have your evidence in quotation marks, now you have to paraphrase it. Okay, you have to say it in your words. You have to make clear that it is clear for you, and you have to make it clear for your readers, because it can be complex. All right, so it's your job to make it understand. All right, that's going to be your job. And also, you do the following, right? You demonstrate that you know what the author is saying. And again, that everything is clear. You can use 1 to 2 sentences, as in all these steps, 1 to 2 sentences. That's more or less the main idea. All right, but again, this explanation is very important. So after the quotation mark, period quotation mark, you say, it means that, what this means is that, or in other words, comma, and you say blah, 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 this, and that. So you paraphrase that idea. You explain that idea. That's step number 5. And then you have step number 6. That is the conclusion of your body paragraph. Each body paragraph will have its own conclusion. All right, each body paragraph will have its own conclusion. So here, what is important to know is this one. It has to be, of course, in connection with your thesis statement, as I already mentioned. Your thesis statement is the last idea in your introduction. So you have to be sure that everything that you developed in that body paragraph is related to that thesis statement, is related to your main argument, and that's what you have to comment and mention at the end. Okay, and this is why it is important to know the benefits, right, of the using digital platforms and having professors that are trained, right, in its usage, something like that. All right, so it's a conclusion, and that's it. The result of that one so far is this, right? I showed you this before, but let's take a look at this again. So now, up to this point, we should be able, right, to write our introduction with 3 steps. And now we can write 2 to 3 paragraphs following all those elements. Okay, the first step, topic sentence. After the topic sentence, extra information, that is optional. After the extra information, the introduction of your evidence. According to the source, this person says that, states that, asserts, comments, and so on. Colon, quotation mark, number 4, the insertion of your evidence, real information in quotation marks, period inside the quotes, last name, year, parentheses. Then paraphrasing, this means that, in other words, the author tries to tell us that, then you explain the evidence, you paraphrase it, and finally, right, the conclusion. Therefore, thus, all in all, blah, 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 showing why it is, or it was important for your essay in this case. All right, or again, for your thesis statement, but remember, is this last idea. So we're good so far, right? So again, if we're paying attention to these details, our essay is going to be always like this, and it's going to be very interesting to take that into account. All right, again, that's going to be main information that we have to consider. Now, we're also going to work on the conclusion because it's very short. So let's do it. Okay, let's work on the conclusion to finish today. Let's open it. All right, it's this one over here. Okay, so let's finish the class with this conclusion. Only 3 steps. Very simple. This is the last part of our essay, of course. Now, after we work with that introduction, after we work with 2 different topics, or yes, of course, 2 different topic sentences, developing 2 different body paragraphs. Minimum, right? But of course, the real minimum is 3. But in this case, 2 is just more than enough. We work on the conclusion. Now, the first step is going back to the thesis statement. It means, again, I said that many times, keep, all right? I'm still doing this, all right? I'm trying to show how important that is, because in every single step of your essay, it is there. And again, in the conclusion, it is here now. So, we have to reformulate the thesis statement to say it again, but in different words or in a different way. It is keep your conclusions focused and by linking back right to the question. In this case, it was the question title. It was our thesis or statement, thesis statement in this case. All right, and this can be used right in this way. If your thesis statement was, it's crucial to compare the blended learning method to traditional one to identify their strengths and weaknesses. If that is, or that was our thesis statement, the last part of our introduction, then the first part of our conclusion will be, finally, we could see that it was really important to make a comparison between the 2 important methods to get the best out of them. Okay, so the beginning of our introduction, or sorry, of our conclusion, was the last part of our introduction, because we are linking back to our thesis statement in this case. All right, that's an example. I believe it's clear. That's the first step in one conclusion. Then, summarize the main points. What are the main points? The topic sentences. Remember that the topic sentence is the first part of every body paragraph. So if you have 2 body paragraphs, you have 2 elements, the benefits and the results of a study. So that's what you have to summarize here. You have to mention those things as part of a summary. All right? So it says, right, it's important to reinforce these key ideas by briefly summarizing your main points. One way to do this is to look back at all the topic sentences from the paragraphs in your essay and bring them together. So again, you bring the beginning of each body paragraph, all right, to your conclusion, you put them together, and that's your second part of your conclusion. The example, it was crucial to know the advantages and disadvantages of the blended learning method due to the fact that it helps us have a better understanding on how to possibly to be here, yes, to possibly improve the current methodologies. All right, that is number 2. So number 1, reformulate the thesis statement. Number 2, summarize what you said by bringing back the topic sentences that you used. And number 3 is just a reflection, something that you say at the end, and something that is going to create that reflection of ways of thinking on what's after this essay. Okay? So, your conclusion should leave the reader thinking about the significance of the whole topic. It means, in this case, in my example, of education and technology, digital platforms, training professors. Okay? Therefore, it is a good idea to include a final thought or reflection, perhaps one that looks forward or outwards, all right, from the thesis statement. It means it can continue with your thesis statement, another essay that is related to that, or it can go outwards, all right? Something that goes outwards, it means that it goes to different directions, not following the idea that you had in your thesis statement, but it's related in a certain way. And the example is the following. Knowing all the advantages of both methods, it will be a good idea to ask ourselves if a mixed method could be the answer to all of the problems that we identified throughout the essay. All right, so now we're not talking about the two methods we were describing in the essay. We're talking about a mixed method that we didn't already mention in our essay, but so that's going to be the beginning of another essay that can go forwards or outwards. All right? And that's it. That is the last part of our conclusion. With that, we're finishing. And again, the result will be this. The last step or the last part is the conclusion, the general conclusion, and we have the three steps. First, we restate or reinforce our thesis statement, one or two sentences. Then we summarize our topic sentences, one right per body paragraph. We have two body paragraphs, the two of them have to be mentioned here. Finally, we write a reflection or thought on our essay. What other essays can be written, or written in this case, sorry, by following this one? What research could be done related to these results? What is next? One and two sentences. Okay, so if you have all that, again, you have a very organized, a very clear essay, argumentative, persuasive essay. So it's important to, again, take this into account to work on something really interesting that, again, is going to be well organized, well structured, and clear for anybody that reads your essay. Okay, I'm finishing the class and the course here. The next course will start on Friday. Okay, I hope you, well, were able to take the most out of these classes and these extra presentations. Have a good, well, rest of the day. All right, the day and the time in which you're watching the class. And that's it. All right, take care. See you around.